And here we are again. Shall we try again? Isn't it amazing when you have technical glitches? So I absolutely love that. So it makes my pulse go a little bit faster, but let's pick up right where we ended off. So step number 1 was the 7 keys to victories was, the first one was desperation. And my summary on that was sometimes people are in such a deep hole that they just cannot move out of it. So they need a roadmap, they need a game plan, they need someone to be accountable to, and they definitely need a coach. So step number 2 in the 7 Ds to victory is desire. So hi, Michelle, as you guys are hopping on, hi, Fran, just say hi. Yeah, I need a lot of love after that, for sure. So desire, what is the better alternative? What do you see for your life? What is it that you desperately want that you currently do not have in your life? So I want to ask you a question. So what is the dream that you see for yourself and that you feel is, and that you know and that you can see is possible for you? So if you knew without a shadow of a doubt, this is what I want, what is that particular dream? So as you guys are hopping on, hi Janine, hi Fran, Eric, great of you guys to hop on. So if you can share with me, what is that one dream that you know that you can see for yourself, you can see it in yourself, and you can see that goal manifested. What is that goal, if you guys can share that with me? So Chris says hi, Joey says hi. Did I miss anything? No, Joey, I gave a quick replay on that. So the reason for that is we need to understand where you are right now, and until you know where do you start from, how do you ever track and measure where you're going? So you need to know exactly where it is you are right now, where you want to go, and then in between, we call it the value gap. So where am I right now? Where do I want to go? What do I need to do to bridge that gap? And again, it comes back to point number 1, having a roadmap, having a game plan, someone that you're accountable to, and a coach. So the third D of the 7 Ds to victory is called a decision. Now, in any network marketing environment, when you say to people, you just need to make a decision, they instantly get ill. And I get that, because until you get to a point where you're ready to move forward, you hate that phrase. When you get to the point where you've actually made a decision, it's the easiest thing in the world. So I find personally the toughest bit is actually the lead up to making a decision. So if I can make a suggestion, just rip off the Band-Aid, make the decision and get going, because it plays with you until you make that decision. And the toughest bit of a decision is always just in your head. It's always in your head, because we do stuff emotionally, we buy emotionally, and then we want to justify it intellectually. So you want to react emotionally, and then afterwards you want to intellectualize it. So you need to make a decision with your heart. And the reason for that is, if you work with an emotive goal, you will be motivated long term. If you are motivated by a head goal, it's just a nice to have, it's something superficial, it can only motivate you for such a period of time. I have found that if it's not an emotive goal, it is very, very difficult to stay on par. And especially when you work with a head goal, distractions are the number one thing that will get you out of the playing field. And it might be good stuff, it might be getting married, it might be, promotion, it might be a various amount of things. But if the goal is in your head and it's not a hard goal, I find it's very difficult to stay connected to that goal. The fourth D to victory is called determination. And I always like to say you have to set yourself up for success. You have to plan to win. Because if you do not plan to win, what are you planning for? You cannot, any sporting arena, you cannot play to just stay neutral. There's either a winner or there's a loser. So if you do not play to be in the game and to win the game, you're going to play to lose. And that's just by default. I apologize. So have you made a very clear decision that when the going gets tough, you're not going to quit? Because especially in this environment that you and I find ourselves, many of us are brand new to the online world, and there's a lot of stuff that we need to learn. So have you made a quality decision that you are in this for the long haul? Or are you going to say, you know what, I've tried it for 2 weeks and then I'm done? You cannot try for 2 weeks, because that's not an emotive goal, point number 1. And point number 2, it's not long enough to gather enough data. So how would you know what could have been? Because I always say people overestimate what they can do in the short term, but they totally underestimate what they can do long term, because most people underestimate the value of compounding. And compounding in terms of learning, compounding in terms of mentoring, compounding in terms of being accountable to someone, and definitely compounding of what you are learning and applying. So number 5 in the 7 Ds to victory is called dedication. I always like it, and I always advise people to get their families involved. Hey, Vicky, great of you to hop on. Chuck, hi, Michelle. Jennifer King is in the house. So if you guys could share with me, how do you get your families involved in your goals? So if you can, in the comment box, just put a number 1 if you like to get your family involved in your goals. So for me, dedication, when I'm focused and driven to work towards a goal, I need to get my family involved. Otherwise, they just see you work and they don't understand what you're working on. Why do you have to put in so much time? It's like that little hair that runs in the long grass, and you see the grass move, but you don't see the hair. And until you actually can see the hair, then only does it make sense that the grass is moving. So get the family involved, that they are part of those goals that you are setting. And I like to schedule priorities, because life gets busy. When you are an entrepreneur, when you are a family, if you're a mother, if you're a father, you have to be a brother, a sister, you have to be a daughter. We've got so many hats that we have to put on. I'm not just a coach. I'm not just a network marketer. I'm a mom. I'm an avid dog breeder. I'm a friend. I want to be so many more things. So for me, I always filter through faith, family, and then my business. Your priorities might be different. There's no right or wrong. It is what works for you and for your family. But make sure that you've got the priorities straight, because otherwise everything just goes and your calendar will always be a mess. So how many guys, I promised my husband to retire him? Yeah, Michelle, that's an awesome one. Hey, Nikki. So share with me a 1 if you like to get your family involved, and a 2 if you say, no, this is my road I'm on. And remember, there's no right or wrong. If you want to just drive it and you don't want to get family involved, comment a 2 below. But if you like to get your family involved, comment a 1. So what would be the 6th D of the 7 keys to victory? And that would be discipline. So here's what I can tell you. In the beginning, it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of practice. But isn't that like anything? So if I can ask the men that are jumping on this live with me, the first time you had to change a diaper, how easy was it, and how long did it take you? So any dads in this, on this live with me, so if you had to change a diaper for the first time, how difficult was it, or how easy was it for you? And if it was difficult, just comment difficult. And again, it was a skill set that you need to acquire. So, a friend of mine always says to me, suck it up, cupcake. If you want to get good at something, and Brandy said this again yesterday, no, actually Friday to me, she said, you're going to suck before you're good, and you're going to be good before you're great. But you cannot go from where you are right now without discipline to great. You're going to suck, then you're going to get good, and then you're going to get great. So you have to embrace the suck. Like Tim always says, from Suckville to Awesome Town, there's a journey inside that, and it's not always good, but you have to own that, and you have to have the discipline to work through it. So here's another thing that I want to ask you. What do you think it will take to be successful if you have an overloaded calendar and you have a problem to say no to things? Where will it fit in with your dedication factor, where you have prioritized your life? So if you do not learn the skill to politely decline certain things, it will always mess up your dedication point, and that would be your priorities that you've scheduled. So it is okay to say no. You do not have to accept every single invitation. You do not have to be on every single board or every single parent association there is. So it is okay to say no. And number 7 is the light. So why did I put that at the end? So yeah, Chuck said it was difficult to change a diaper. Absolutely, Eric as well. So here's the thing. After a couple of times, how easy was it? So Chuck and Eric, what would you say? How easy was it after a while to change the diapers? It all of a sudden became like Fernie always says, putting cereal in a bowl and eating it, because you've you've done it a couple of times and you sucked at it in the beginning, then you started getting better, and then you were great at it. So that is exactly the same. There's no difference whether you are building a business, whether you are raising a family, whether you want to play golf. When you start with your first swing, the first swing sucks. And then as you practice and as you put the time in, as you get a coach, as you have a game plan, as you have a realistic goal that you're walking towards, that is when you get from suck to good to great. The last one is delight, and that is celebrate all wins. And this is something that I've struggled with for a very, very long time, because Eric says it's much easier to change diapers. No, absolutely. I don't know where that picture came in my head, but that's the one that popped up. So in the beginning, I found it very difficult to celebrate wins. And even now, my business partner still tells me you have to celebrate, anchor that win, and make sure that it becomes part of your DNA. You have to stop and celebrate. And I wanted to end off this daily dose of awesome. Yeah, Eric says it's much easier. Chuck says can't remember, but it was difficult. So I want to ask you this question that I actually wrote down. What if you knew, without a shadow of a doubt, how to attract endless leads, endless sales, recruits, without spamming anyone's inbox, without chasing people on social media, without sending friend requests to people that you don't know from a bar or soap, and accepting friend requests from people you don't know? What if you can have a method of attracting leads? What would that be as an impact on your business and your life right now? So if you buckle up and you buckle down and you implement the 7 strategies to get to the victory, in this community, there's coaching, there's training, there's roadmaps available, there's help available. So the 7 steps to victory is really a decision. And that was point number 3. Will you embrace the suck to get to good, to ultimately end on stage at a no excuses event, being a victor and being great? Love you guys. Love hanging out with you. Chat to you soon.